Club Skycat 9486. Do you have a bit on what steps and tools to use to become one? To become what? The internet is filled with it. The internet is filled with that information. This tastes like those Starbucks drinks. Do you have points where you burn out from studying every day? How do you mitigate it? I don't burn out. Because this is something I actually want to do. On my 100 yesterday, or probably like 7 or 8 hours ago, I did the 100-day stream. I didn't really have much to say, but I was tired from moving a lot of furniture. I get tired in those instances, but no, I don't get burned out from this because it's what I want to do. That's good. Plus, I've made it a lifestyle. The problem with studying every day is that people expect it's like a muscle. It's like a muscle. You're not gonna automatically know you're not gonna automatically be able to study for long periods of time. You're just not. And so people think, like, to be fair, we all should have started building our studying muscles maybe in middle school, maybe even earlier, maybe, in high school or even in our first year of college. This is Nesquik and like this coffee thing. So this definitely gonna wake me up. Uh, you gotta build your studying muscles. You can't just expect burnt. So many tabs, you're confused. Damn. Sounds like a skill issue. All right. So, some of y'all know, some of y'all don't know. What I'm doing right now is learning React. Oh, that felt good. I'm learning React. And let's see where we are. We're on. I was building a form and handling submissions. Oh, actually, you did. Now that I understand what you mean, Rahesh. Okay, this is this. You know, most developers have this open. You know, like they're developing over here, they have what they're developing over here. And then this is a Pomodoro counter. It's a study helper. It does time study sessions and then gives you a time break. Okay? All right. Okay, so then we have this needs to be smaller. And this is the item. So why don't we, inside of that form, can we have a div inside of that form? And this is the new array thing that I learned. I actually dreamt about this for some reason. I was dreaming about this before I went to sleep. Well, I was dreaming about this while I went to sleep because I had never used the array.from. I'm probably going to do some practice on array.from so I can get it in my mind because it seems to be something that you use in React pretty often. Okay, so, but I want to style this a little bit better. So we need, these two need to be next to each other. So I wonder, can I put a section and then move this select, the select in both of these in here. And section. So we got this, and then we got, but I want the, oh, I wanted the input next to it. So I got this, oh, okay, yeah. I want the input next to it. So we got the section, we got the select, but I want the input next to it. Yeah, buddy, that's what I want. under, can I say, so we got that, that's the number. I don't like how it's on that. So flex, justify, between. And then I want some, that could be a little bit grayed out. So why don't we give this input and then P3 is a bit much, and we'll that's a bit dark. Alright, that ain't bad. P1, P1.5, use AI. Thank you. You said I should use AI? Maybe. Maybe you're right. Or maybe it's Maybelline. Maybe it's her. Maybe it's Maybelline. Maybe it's her. Maybe it's Maybelline. Y'all remember that? Maybe it's Maybelline. Oops. Maybe I want to do justify around. Yeah, that's a little bit better. And then in that section, the select, we'll give it a class name B1 1.5, and we'll give it a BG of slate. Was it 300? No, it was 200. And then rounded X ago. Alright. Oh, we need to make sure that doesn't happen because it refreshes every time you add class name. Let's give this a BG green 200. P2 rounded Excel. I think I might put this in grid. This don't look right. Justify. And then, yeah, I need to move this. So I need to look up some grid properties in Tailwind. What's up, Carnava? Grid in Tailwind. It's fractional. This is the one thing. Okay, I'm gonna have to write this down because I keep forgetting this. Yeah, it's grid template columns, and then there's a place where you put the FR, the fractional units. Okay, there we go. So this is how. See, I don't like to see. That's the reason why Tailwind was like, "Oh, we going out of business," because AI found this faster than I could. Grid column. Did I maybe I didn't look well enough. Let's see. Okay, so we getting somewhere. What's that? See, columns didn't bring me straight to it. You already mastered. Have you already mastered the flex and grid CSS? Yeah, I already have. Think about it. How would I know to look up fractional units if I didn't already know grid and yeah. How would I know to use fractional units if I didn't already know? I don't think there's. All right, I know what I'm gonna do. So let me see because I don't see that in the documentation anywhere. I know you could 1FR, and then you min content. See, it doesn't say. Okay, so it says that in Stack Overflow. Okay, so you just separate them by underscore, so whatever. That's not hard. So what I will do, we're gonna change this to grid, and then we're gonna say, why do I always have something hot in my pants? Why do you always want to see what's there? Nasty, you big nasty man. Is it grid call or grid calls? Grid calls. Okay, and then see, I am familiar with. Okay, so what I want is. Okay, so I want the first one to be. Hold on. No, we can do two. That's true. Oh, okay, okay. I was just. Okay. All right, there we go. So this is what I wanted. Oops. Okay, this is exactly what I wanted. So there we go. If anything. Oh no, that's okay. But if anything, make this two. Yeah. All right. That's what I wanted. What's up, Battle Fights? So now that works, but the problem is now we have to make sure that number one on hover. All right, that's better. All right. Okay. Okay, so next, let's just keep going in the course. So I have a course going, but I'm not following the course to the T because that's not how you learn. So essentially right here, and this is something I keep thinking about because I never learned this when I was doing my regular JavaScript course. Array.from will create an array. Um, Creates an array from, it can create an array from other iterables. So I could put a map, a set, or I guess another array here. I don't know why I would do that. So, or you could put a string. And then with this object, I can specify a length. And then over this, with this, it's like a map function. I can do something to each. It just creates an array with 20 empty slots. And then I have to put 2 here so I can access this variable like this. So um, this is the start, which is going to be undefined. And then this is I think the actual value or the index, I plus 1. Okay. And then since that gives us an array, we can map over that. And we can create options for this section, and that's how I get this. I need to look over this. Let me see. I wrote some notes. So the I is the index, and the U will be undefined. Okay. I'm gonna have to go through and see what this is again. But I use AI a lot and not focus on concept, but I'm building again all the basics again. I'm learning online, paying $120 for 20 days. What do you think? I don't know. I didn't pay anything to learn all that I know. Uh, I, I get Udemy for free. I've used all free resources. I get Udemy for free from the public library. Okay, and then we map, because if you just put an array of anything inside of these brackets, like, I guess React knows what to do. And then it'll pop out an array of options. Option, key, JSX type things, type shit. Mm-hmm. So the goal with this, the form, is to, I want to, when add is pressed, we submit the data in select and the input field. Hold on, I wonder, can I do this? So if I go to the form and then I say on, is it on submit? And then I pass the event here, and then I said e dot prevent default. Is that can I do that? Okay, good. So we stopped the, but I wonder, is that the same on, see, I didn't know, does it pass an event? Oh, it does the same thing. All right. But I guess it's easier to do it on the form. I just learned something. Okay. Yep, the more you know. Let me see something. Let's see. Oh, I gotta press this. All right. So I get an object. So on submit the target instance, type submit, React name on submit, target, target. What information? Does it have any information? Let's refresh. Let's say I put test, and then I press add. What happens? I'm getting lost in the sauce. Is there a, okay, so we got target, but do we have a, do we have a value? Is this in alphabetical order? Looks like it is. I don't see the value. Can I do a control F? Oh. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, value should be available in the input. You know, I put the event listener the um on the form itself. So it listen, you know, you already know this, Sarah. So it already listens for everything. So I was going through the list and I was like, "Where's value?" And I don't know if you were here when I just searched for it, but I couldn't find it. But I'm assuming he's about to explain it. Oh, okay. Maybe I'm looking at it wrong. Hold on. Let me do it one more time because it looks like he put test and then he added and then he opened the object and then mine doesn't say since his says hold on. He said his said synthetic base event. Mine does not say synthetic base event. On submit, it don't matter. It's an object. As long as it just says object, whatever. Same thing probably. No, okay. So bubbles true, and then target. Okay. Here we are, and then input, and then input. In input, I'm assuming there's a value. Okay, so I was looking in the wrong place. Value test. There we go. Boop. There we go. Found it. So now he's about to explain because from what I guess in React you don't ask because you know in JavaScript you just do when you submit a form you go into the target and you get all the information out and stuff. But he's saying that we don't do that in React. We use something called control elements. Okay, let me start taking notes on this shit. Okay, so I guess we're gonna use controlled elements. So he's saying that we should um const uh, user description set user description equal and he's saying that we're just gonna put test right here. He's saying that then we come here and for the value we enter user description. Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay. You provided a value prop to a form field without you provided a value prop to a form field without an on-change handler. This will render a read-only field. If the field should be mutable, use default value, otherwise set either on-change or read-only. Oh, okay. So if I go to components, I go to form. um, it has one state, and that state is this right here. So I need to basically on the input, we have a on change. And so when we get that on change, so then if I say something, it changes right here. If I say learn to code, don't be discouraged. What's that right there? All right. So that becomes the state. There's a command for VS Code, command VS Code in the chat to learn the thing, to get the thing. Oh yeah, let's do that. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do, hold on. Oh, that's cool. Oh, okay. I liked it. That was cool. All right. Hold on. Okay, so he wants us to do it again. So what is this going to be called? Select. So we're going to say const item items number set items number equal use state, I don't know, what is 0? Okay, that's a better word. Quantity. And then we go to select. We go to select. And in select.
Yeah, the call is like.
What the hell? Cool. I'll keep doing what I'm doing. Let me see. Let's see what these people talking about. Christmas tree, state update. Let's see. Some of the people here were talking about how. Let me check the stream. Sometimes the stream just randomly goes down. All right. So some people were saying, do you think? Some people were saying that AI is gonna take away front end, but we can do a quick job search, front end jobs in, let's say, California, front end web development jobs in California, and we can look at that. There's 67 more jobs. Junior front end web developer, front end software engineer, front end web developer, front end web developer, front end web developer. There's all these postings. Let's look at what came up at the top. Front end web developer. Must have very good experience towards AI-driven software development approach, specifically using Claude AI for UI code generation. There you go. Must have very good experience towards AI-driven. Then here we are. There's another one, junior front end. Front end developed to work on Orange County area biomedical products company. Contract 6 to 12 months. Bachelor's in computer science or related fields. Strong understanding of front end technologies. Angular, React, Angular, Vue, or other JavaScript framework. RESTful web services via. So look at that. That's another one. We can look at front end software engineer, 2 to 5 years of experience. We can ignore that. Ooh, they want to pay a lot. That's what I mean. You need AI to do front end stuff now. It will slowly replace that role. That was actually, out of all the days, you're just looking at one thing and trying to support your point through that. But I have seen, this is the first time I've seen this. This is the first time I've seen this in a job posting for front end. This is out of the probably 100 I've looked at so far. This is the first time I've seen them say this specific thing. So you just looked at. I need you to go through more than just this one that proved your point to say that that's the case. Okay. Well, I don't know. See, the problem with saying that that job will be replaced is that even if AI will, okay, so the thing is, even if AI will replace it, there's still going to be people that need to prompt it, right? And for you to prompt it and understand what it's spitting out, you're going to have to understand HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and a framework, right? So you're going to have to understand how to use those things in order for you to even use Claude or any AI successfully. So you're saying that it will replace it, but you're not saying what the human role is going to be. You're just focused on like the doom of it all. It's going to be replaced, but not the opportunity that it gives people, right? And so that's the problem that I have with people saying, "Oh, this is going to be replaced." With everything's going to be replaced, but what is our relationship going to be in that job? Yeah, I am. You're not thinking about what I'm telling you. I said that while what you say may be true, you're focusing on just that aspect of, oh, it's going to be replaced. Oh, it's going to be replaced. Oh, it's going to be replaced. But what about people's relationship with those jobs, right? What about what you need to know in there? Because even if AI, let's say AI replaces front end, there's still going to be people that are going to review that code, right? And you're going to need to understand HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And you're going to need to understand all those things, right? So that the code doesn't look stupid. And how do you know what's best? Okay, so you're not thinking about what I'm telling you. Regardless of whether or not it's replaced, I'm saying what will be people's relationship with front end. But one thing I do not respect is when people doom and gloom, and that's exactly what you're doing. So if you're going to say, especially when it comes to jobs, because jobs are like how people pay their bills, jobs are survival. So especially you coming into my chat when I'm learning front end and you're telling me, oh, it's going to be replaced, but you're not necessarily giving any, it's like my thing is, what is your goal of saying that it's going to be replaced? Like what do you get at the end of the day for saying that? You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people come in and they say, oh, this is going to replace that. Well, maybe one day, I mean one day, back end is going to be replaced, right? Because while front end can be replaced in some regards, there's still some subjectivity to how you develop a front end, because there's some design direction in that. So there's still going to be people with design skills needed to make the front end look well and be usable. And that comes through a certain degree of testing. Okay, so I'm gonna just read this. I'm gonna just go ahead and read this. I understand what you're trying to say. Yes, there will be front end roles, but I see it now. Look at all the Twitch streams. Someone can just prompt a landing page. You don't need a front end dev. Okay, can you prompt one of those award sites landing pages? So AI cannot replace creativity, right? That part, the design part of it, right? And what I'm saying is that even if the code that AI spits out gives you a landing page, who's to say that the code is going to be reasonable? You know what I mean? Also, there's the social impact of replacing those jobs. So I think a lot of companies are starting to think in this direction, because if we, okay, and that's fair, but let me just go back to, hold on, let me read this. Krim said back end being replaced will be 10 times higher than front. All they need is, hold on, so you can focus learning the skills that keep you valuable in the future. But my thing is that who, okay, so let me understand this. So you're saying, so you're coming into this stream, right? And you're saying that front end is going to be replaced. But are you saying that full stack is going to be replaced? Are you saying that if you're coming here and you see that I'm learning front end and you see that we're on 101 days, right? How, so are you saying that what I'm learning is like for not? So if somebody doesn't learn the front end and we just give it all to AI, then who's going to be able to audit that code? Like, so are you, so let me understand this, because I get this in a lot of streams that I do, and I'm wondering what people's true goal of it is. So AI is going to replace front end. Are you saying that learning front end, there's no point to it? Because then if there's no point to it and we're just going to rely on the AI code, the AI to code it, who's going to audit that code? Who's going to understand the code that it spits out if nobody learns front end? Because like if I feel like if I was learning back end, nobody would come in here and say, "Oh well, AI is going to replace back end," when we know the inevitability of AI is that it will begin to, in some ways, do back end coding. Yeah, that one job description. Okay. Mm-mm-mm. Okay, so let me ask you this. How does it help me? How does it help me as a person who's trying to break into the field? As a person who's learning this, because from what I understand, learning this will be fine as long as when I do it with AI, I understand it, right? So what I'm doing is fine. So what is the point of Okay, so I guess what I'm really trying to say is how does telling me this every single day I get in here help me? How does telling me this every single time I press that stream button, right? Because we started from HTML to CSS to JavaScript to Tailwind to React, and now we already know the eventuality. We already know what's coming next. So we're starting from the front to the back. Because in this, I'm gonna have to learn Superbase and Postgres and all that stuff. So we're slowly getting there. So how is what you're telling me helping with my morale? How is what you're telling me helping me when you get into the chat and you begin to say these things? Okay. So you're saying that is so are you saying so full stack is front end and back end. So you have to learn front end and you have to learn back end. So what are so the focus is on full stack, but full stack encompasses front end and back end. So you have to learn the front end and the back end. So how is what you're telling me helping what I'm doing? Okay, well let me help you out. All right, going forward, I'm gonna say this because I'm really getting sick and tired of it. You telling me that AI is gonna replace things doesn't help me. It's not that I'm not aware of it. I see nothing wrong because when I was learning HTML and CSS and JavaScript, people were like, you need to learn Tailwind and you need to learn React. So now I'm learning Tailwind and I'm learning React. Now people are asking me when I'm going to get to the back end. And eventually I'm going to get to the back end. Eventually I'm going to learn so many things. People are going to say, well, why don't you learn Rust and Go or Java or something? To anybody who's watching me and you're trying to learn, please, please ignore, try to ignore the people who are like, saying AI is going to replace this because the utility of saying that once or twice, understandable. You're informing about the state of the job market. You're informing people about the state of jobs. You're saying what it is and what it might be, right? But once you begin to hear that shit every single day, listen, I get it. Did y'all just see the dude who was like valedictorian or salutatorian? When he graduated, they put the screen on him and he showed himself on Chat GPT or something. I think it came up on it showed that he graduated using Chat GPT. Okay, I get it. AI is just this big revolutionary thing that's gonna take all of these jobs and it's gonna replace and change how we do this and do that. But what I'm saying is that okay, like okay, okay. So I've heard this thing. I've heard what you're saying multiple times over the last 101 days. 101 days of doing this. I've heard every day that AI is going to replace this several times a stream. Several times a stream, right? And each day I have moved closer and closer to back end. Closer and closer to back end. We're like literally on the cusp of getting to back end. I am tired of hearing that shit. I'm tired of hearing that every day AI is going to replace this and AI is going to replace that. You all who are saying this should never teach people, because this is not how you how you inspire people to learn or get into the field. It sounds like all you want to do is be right about something. When somebody is learning and they're trying their best and they're trying to change their life, because that's what I said in the day zero video. If I'm trying to learn a skill and change my life and do all of these different things, nothing is wrong with learning HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Nothing is wrong with learning React. Nothing is wrong with learning Tailwind. Nothing is wrong with learning Superbase. Nothing is wrong with learning Postgres or even Go or anything in any of that. Nothing is wrong with moving in the direction that I'm moving. So how does you telling me every day, several times a day, help me? How does it help me? It sounds like you just want to feel right and you just want to say, oh, well, this is what's going to happen. And this is, okay, well, we get it. I can open a random tab and somewhere, I know if I scroll long enough, I'm going to see something that says AI. Did I see it? Is something going to say AI? If I control F? I don't, is that the command in here? Is it Alt F? I don't know, but I know if I scroll long enough, I'll find something about AI. Right? So I'm gonna tell y'all now, y'all probably not gonna listen to me because I know it was never about the person y'all were telling it to, and mostly about how y'all felt about yourself. Stop telling people, tell them once, I get it. AI will replace or fundamentally change how we approach front end, but that doesn't mean that learning front end is not valuable. I don't need you to tell me to shift my mindset. I already understand that. Okay, so from now on, anybody that comes up in here and talks about things being replaced, I'll just hide you from the channel. I'll just delete your comment because I'm tired of hearing it. You're not helping me, and you're really not helping anybody that's trying to learn. So that's my take on that. I don't want to hear it no more. Let me see something. So to everybody out there who's trying to learn, please keep learning and say fuck you to these motherfuckers who just want to say AI all day. I promise you, we're gonna get to a point where, cause what if they're wrong? Like, what if AI, it does replace certain things, but they begin to realize that it can't replace things how we thought it could replace things. And then what will those people say then? Okay, let's see. So I'm done with that. Let me open Firefox. I'm telling y'all, like yesterday I was talking about on, because I realized it. I'm glad you said that. What's up, RP? I'm glad you said that. We are all in the same boat. Juniors, mids, and all these cringe titles that make no sense are in the same boat. The hardest part of software was never writing code. Like, let me be real with y'all for a second. I live in a country where they will hire somebody based on a culture fit, not on competence. I live in a society where a lot of these jobs will be given to you based on nepotism or who you know. I didn't forget you, RP. A lot of that is based on that. So it's like, y'all think that I don't understand what challenges I face. There's a challenge that I'm going to have to face that other people don't even consider. What's up, J-Mac? There's a challenge that I'm going to have to face in this country, in the country that I live in, that people don't even want to bring up. Nobody's bringing up the fact that I will be a black software engineer and the challenges that come with being black in a corporate workspace. But we can't talk. We can talk about every single challenge, but nobody's going to bring up that challenge, and that's the truth. So we're going to bring up all of these different challenges. It's always going to be adversity. There's always going to be something. They're going to think you're too old. They're going to think you're too fat. They're going to think you're too tall. They're going to think you're too brown. They're going to think you're not brown enough. They're going to think this and that and that and this and this and that. But why should we allow those things to really stop us from achieving our goals? I get it's good to be realistic. But listen, I'm not sitting here snorting crack off of a stripper's butt cheek. I'm coding. I'm coding. Okay? I'm not harming anybody. I'm not hurting anybody. Okay, exactly. So it's like we talk about every bit of adversity. We talk about every challenge except the really serious challenges. Let's talk about the fact that there's so many people that want to go out and achieve something, but they're stuck in inconsistency, they lack discipline, and they have no focus, and they keep getting distracted, and they always are procrastinating. What about that challenge? What about that specific challenge that I've overcome? What about me knowing that, hey, I'm black in America? We're in Black History Month in America. What about the fact that I'm black in America and that there's challenges that come with being that? We're not talking about that, are we? Come on now. Come on now. Nothing to do with AI, but I have one tip for you. You should learn to tap fast on your keyboard, and with the correct position of your fingers, it will help you a lot. I'm French, I'm sorry. So anyway, so it's like I don't know. I didn't think my How did I overcome those challenges currently dealing with them? I'll tell you how I overcame those challenges. I overcame those challenges by accepting the fact because I used to have long hair. I'll start with that. I used to have long hair, and I used to think that because I'm black that I would have to present myself in a certain way to get a job because I was always under the impression that I would not be chosen first. I was always the person chosen last. So I thought that I thought that I would always have to change so many things about myself in order to get anything. And so I changed myself to please other people, and I noticed that the more I begin to change myself to fit other people's idea of what I should be, the more not only I lost myself, but the more they did not accept me because it was never anything wrong with me, but it was something in them. And what I mean, and what I'm trying to say is that I had to really sit down and realize that if those places don't want me because of the way that I look, then those aren't the places that I should work. And that's one part of it. The next part of it is that I think regardless of hold on, let me read that again. How did you overcome those challenges currently dealing with them? Um, how I currently deal with the idea I have about being black and trying to go into a workspace. I lean on the work that I do. So I'm thinking if I work hard enough, then nobody can ever deny the work, right? The work can never be denied. Like you can get a degree and people can talk shit about the degree, but they can never say that you didn't put in the work. So that's what I lean on, being brown. I'm like, okay, as long as I put in the work, they can never deny the work. So it was never about me. It was about how they feel. Procrastination, discipline, that came because um, I wanted to make a change. And so in order to make a change, I said, well, what am I going to have to do and what am I going to have to give up? And so that's how that happened. I made a decision. Uh, I'm probably not answering this the best way I know how, but another thing, the noise and the distractions, AI will replace the way we do things. It changes perspective and responsibility. Back in the day, coding input was very slow. Yeah, but what I'm saying is that right now, I don't really care to hear about anything about AI. Yeah, cause so that's what's going to be on this channel from now on. Unless I talk about AI, if anybody else talks about AI, I'm gonna immediately like just block them because I'm not trying to hear it. I don't care anymore. Like that's how I actually feel. I'm aware. I've I understand. I understand that AI is changing things. I understand its impact. It is not. It has truly dawned on me, and I use AI in my learning. I have adapted it. I have introduced it into my learning. It is. I now ask it questions. I now use AI more than I ever have. But I am disinterested in people coming in here talking about, oh, AI is going to do this, AI is going to do that. I don't care. Because what you're doing is not helping me. I'm starting to learn FE same stack as you React plus BAS. Well, that's cool. How am I overcoming those challenges? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You know what the beautiful thing about the internet is that we have block. What's up, Kay? We have block, timeout. Let me show y'all what it looks like. Boop. Right here. We have put user in timeout, remove, and yeah, and the blocks. Oh, we got the hide user from channel and stuff like that. Use that a lot. I also, there's a server that I used to go into. The reason I created my own Discord server was because there was another server I would join, and I noticed that it was very negative. Like those people were extremely negative, so I left that. And I created an environment where if people want to learn, they can learn without, I don't know, all the mess and BS. But let me take a break. I'll come back in 10 minutes. And then I'll get back to studying. Okie dokie. Was that my crash out moment? Is that what the kids consider crashing out? I can code, but I'm too nervous to do live coding when interview. Everything just blank at the same time. You'll get better at it if you don't rely on AI. Isn't that crazy? I'm not saying that you currently rely on AI, but I'm saying that, I imagine those people who strongly advocate for AI and haven't been in the field pre-AI, I imagine they have issues. You should see when C++ 26 features was introduced, how people reacted. All right, okay, I'm gonna take a little break. IDEs, we're gonna replace developers. Negativity. I'm gonna take a long break. I need a break. I'm here. I'm here, but I can't find my glasses. Be right back. What? All right. Okay. We are here. We are ready to learn. We are ready to learn. Let me put this right here. Alrighty. And let's continue. Yeah? Huh? No, it's not a front end mentor project. need to do, what I want to do. The packing item. So what are we passing to this? Description, quantity, packed. Let's call this description. Quantity. Packed. And then we had to, you gotta pass it an ID. All right. So, the description, and this will be quantity. Oh, what is it? It's just a little thing for this course that I'm doing. See, and this is the question that I had, because I was like, okay, so now that we create a component and then we create that component's object, how do we take this and put it into another component? And so now we're about to do that, which, okay, so on submit, let me go to the on submit, cannot call an impure function. Let's call it 0 then. I've never heard of an impure function. What is a impure function in an impure function in JavaScript is a function that either depends on or modifies external state outside its own scope, or produces a different output for the same input on different calls. These actions are known as side effects. So that's something I didn't know. So we're going to write impure functions. Joker writes, consistency is a jagged, nonlinear path of showing up, often marked by ups, downs, and necessary breaks rather than constant, perfect progress. True consistency means continuing to show up and adapt. Yes, sir. What's up, Too High? Okay, so before I move on, let me create a handle submit function, I guess. Function handle submit. And what I want when we handle submit is handle submit. Yeah, I want to create DLG new packing. Oh, const new packing item. will equal user description. You know what? I should just pass it in as I should just create an object. Why don't I just create an object, and then in that object, I think that would make things easier, right? So in that object, we'll just have description, quantity, packed ID. So we have description, which is the current user description, quantity, which is the quantity, packed, false, and then ID will be date dot now. And then we will CLG new packing item. And then right here we'll say okay. So then if I come over here and I say this is a sandwich and we want 6 of them, and I go to the console anyway, and I want this is a sandwich, and I say add. Oops. Was it on click? Yeah, on, can I do on click? On click. And then we need to go ahead and remove this. And then I'll change this to that, and then I'll say I want a pizza slice. Hold on. You know what? I don't need to do that. I don't need to do this. Because we can say here e dot prevent default. So then that stops. Okay, yeah. So now we got it working. So we got I want pizza as a description, quantity, pack, false, ID is this. Nice. How's React? React is going good. What's up, Joker? React is going good. Oh no, I forgot to. I was wondering why the counter wasn't moving this whole time. It's okay.
Mhm. Used to make components interactive.
Hmm. 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 Breaky break. Yeah, man. Hello there. Oh. Um. Hmm. Going forward, I'm going to end the stream here. Going forward, every stream going forward there will be no allowance of AI talking about replacing jobs or vibe coding. That is the rule, and I'm sticking to it. Thank you for joining me today. This is Kristen Coes. I'm coding every day until I become a web developer. I will be back later today. Bye-bye.